This is Hannibal here. 11:29 p.m. Kansas time. Here in Wichita, Kansas, Royal Rumble weekend. WWE is in kind of their second home base, Saudi Arabia, which I do believe Saudi Arabia might be the WWE owners in the future. Huge news update for you tonight, and I'm going to give you my weekly review of the points I find interesting in Dave Meltzer's Wrestling Observer newsletter, which came out today. But a little bit of news for Canadian wrestling fans. I will be putting on a wrestling event in Canada August the 1st. And I can tell you it's going to feature a lot of Shine talent from Shine Ladies Wrestling that I post a lot of footage on. Rampage Red Devil, we all miss the Hulkster, but he still gets in the news. Hulk and Flair still get in the news more than most wrestlers these days. Let's jump into it. Another guy that gets into the news more than most wrestlers, and he's done with WWE now. Jesse Wears the Body Ventura, former governor of Minnesota. He wasn't used on the last Saturday night's main event. They reduced his role more and more each time because he seemed to be having problems remembering names and storylines for what they were trying to get him to plug. When they had him involved with the NBC version of Saturday night's main event. But now he is trying to make the news again, saying that the United States should separate from Canada, or at least Minnesota should separate from Canada. That's what he's doing to try to get in the news now. Should separate from the United States and become part of Canada. Before, we've heard Alberta wants to join the U.S. Now he's trying to get something going where Minnesota wants to leave the U.S. I can tell you right now, he's just a publicity hound. There's an interview with him with Trump on the Howard Stern show around 2016 where Ventura is almost begging Trump. And by the way, this is after Trump was supposedly a draft dodger, right? Because that's Ventura's whole gimmick now. And again, I'm not political. I'm just saying Ventura's like anti-Trump now. He endorsed Kamala Harris, and now he's saying Canada should recruit Minnesota. But at one point, he was trying to get Donald Trump to fund him at a run for president. And he's literally been saying since the 90s he's going to run for president. He is not going to run for president. I can tell you that right now. And if he did, it would not be successful. His best time where he would have had the most chance to run would have been in the 90s when he was getting all those movie roles in Schwarzenegger films and Major League and so forth. He was still a lot more heavily involved in wrestling, and wrestling was a lot more popular. Now he's gone from saying he hated the two-party system and writing a book called Democrats and Rebloodlicans to actually endorsing a Rebloodlican and flip-flops on stuff. And watch his interview with Theo Vaughn. A lot of people say, and this is their opinion, that he was fairly senile in a lot of people's opinion. Someone says Jesse the Fraud Ventura. I'll tell you about Jesse. And again, I can't even vote. Okay, I can't even vote. The only thing, and I'm not political, I've seen it myself from being a former Jesse Ventura fan, him flip-flop on his views. And the one thing that made me mad, and I'll be very blunt, at one point in time, Jesse Ventura, after me talking to his agent for several years, and I don't know if that's still his agent or not, agreed to do a shoot interview with me for $5,000, which is huge money for a shoot interview, especially one that you're just going to put on the internet. And you know what? I was such a big fan of his, and I was doing pretty good at that time. I agreed to pay him $5,000 US. Oh, and by the way, Jesse, You love Canada so much. You know how much the Canadian dollar is worth in American? It takes like $1.43 Canadian to have $1 American. See how fun that is for me here in the US. It's a big difference. Anyways, Jesse changed the deal. He agreed to it for $5,000. I announced it. His people saw how interested people were. Then he changed it to wanting something like, I believe it was 25% royalties off a shoot interview he wanted $5,000 for the rest of eternity. So for the rest of time, every month, I would have to research how much every single video I ever make of Jesse. Keep in mind, this was a real pain in the ass to do and like pay him royalties. You look at all the interviews Jesse Ventura does. Does he really get royalties off of all the interviews he does? I don't think so. And anyways, he lost me as a fan forever because he had agreed to a clean $5,000, which was a hell of a lot of money for me. And again, that was American. Then he changed it. Oh, I changed my mind. $5,000 plus 25% royalties for eternity. Anyways, is this guy a famous Canadian newscaster? Well, I am, yes. I am sure. I am the most famous wrestling reporter / wrestler from Canada. That's what I will dub myself, and I have the most popular professional wrestling YouTube channel based in Canada because my company is actually based in Canada. So I thank you guys for all of your support. Almost 400 million total video views on YouTube. Last month, I got something like 19 million Facebook views on my videos alone. We are also on the Hannibal TV Facebook page. So let's get into the next piece of news. Hulk Hogan, Jesse Ventura's arch nemesis, his Clearwater Beach, Florida estate is on sale for $11 million. It's 5,400 square feet with 5 bedrooms, an ocean view, a pool, and a spa. Hogan is getting sued by the company, not the company. Someone says, I am the best reporter in the world. Yes, I am. I am the best reporter in the world. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'll take it. Anyways, he's getting sued by the company that wanted to do his Real American beer with him. They're suing the owners of his estate, which Brooke denied being an owner of an estate. She didn't want to be one. So it's Sky Hogan, his widow, and Nick that are dealing with a $10 million lawsuit. The company that didn't do his beer. Now, I don't even know if they're still selling his beer now that he's passed away, because he had maybe one of the reasons he passed, but he seemed to really be working literally almost right up until the time of his death. He got onto his deathbed. He was making appearances everywhere and not looking very healthy. So he was working himself very hard for someone that had heart issues and severe body issues. I actually feel bad for him. And people might even remember WWE jobber Paul Roma literally, as Hogan's on his deathbed, tried to make a fight challenge to Hulk Hogan. That's the kind of loser Paul Roma was. Rick the Nature Boy Flair posted videos today on his social media. New videos, back training with Jay Lethal, who it wasn't too long ago, he was publicly insulting Jay Lethal. Obviously, they made up, and they're back doing wrestling training. Flair is 76. The last time he was in the news, he was apologizing for making drunken cameo videos. Now I guess he's thinking about getting back in the ring. There is a lot of money in wrestling. Next year's WrestleMania is in Saudi Arabia. We'll see. I mean, they might take him back. I certainly don't want to see Flair in the ring again, because he retired in WWE, then he went on to wrestle for TNA, then he had a quote-unquote last match. The last match was a tag team match, him and Andrade against Jarrett and Jay Lethal. It was brutal. It was awful. By the way, Jeff Jarrett is still under AEW contract. despite not wrestling in AEW for almost a year. He's on that AEW gravy train, which I'm going to get into that AEW gravy train a little bit more in a bit. Paul Roma is a jabroni, yes, and Coco Beware actually beat up Paul Roma in a famous backstage fight. Apparently, Randy Orton was cheered by the live crowd in Montreal last week over Sami Zayn when Orton RKO'd Zayn. It's funny because Meltzer's like a big fan of Sami Zayn, constantly putting him over. He's not even liked in his own town anymore, for crying out loud. He's a guy that's been force-fed down our throats for years. And most of us are sick of it. And that's why so many of us are tuning out. Let's make a trade. Minnesota for Alberta. That would be an interesting trade, actually. Although I don't know if most Minnesotans would agree with Jesse. But I think that is a trade that Albertans would take. Because I've lived in Alberta. It's a city that I do believe would be better suited to the U.S. compared to the rest of Canada. There is other more redneck provinces out there, but I would say, and I consider myself a redneck, by the way. I ride bulls. I am a wild person. I have a wild side. I try and keep it under control, but I'm definitely a redneck. I work for a living, and I'm one of the people that would obviously I like the U.S. I have nothing against the U.S. I actually love it here. That's why I'm here right now. If you only knew what you know, then you would know. Sammy looked like a substitute teacher tonight on SmackDown. Sammy is just, my God. I didn't even use him when I had a wrestling company in Ottawa because I thought he was too small for my independence, and I never got Sami Zayn. I'm about realistic wrestling. I never used Kevin Owens either. In AEW news, here AEW has signed over 11 wrestlers, okay? AEW, where Collision right now is getting lower ratings than Rampage got when it was canceled, okay? They only have 2 shows. At one point, they had Collision, Rampage, and Dynamite. Now they have 2. And when Netflix takes over, do you think WWE is going to be like, yeah, keep AEW around? No, I think they're going to make it real hard for AEW. But one of AEW's problems they have way too many people under contract. What do? They keep hiring more and more. More people sitting at home doing nothing, okay? Here's the people. We're only January 30th today. This week, Tommaso Ciampa started with AEW, another small, spotty wrestler. He started the 28th. Baron Corbin hasn't signed, but he's getting tryouts. Billy Gunn is still under contract, as is the Big Show, rarely used. The Rascals from TNA, that faction has signed. Desmond Xavier signed this year. Zachary Wentz signed this year. Trey Miguel signed this year. Myron Reed signed this year. And confirmed in January, this was a multi-year deal. Persephone from CMLL signed. Hirachiro from CMLL is signed. Mascara Dorado signed. Jake Doyle signed. Tommaso Ciampa signed. Alex Price and Jordan Oliver signed. So there's everyone that's signed just this month. Yes, Ciampa is garbage. I agree. It's like, what do you do when you're already over bloated with talent and you have too many than you can even play every week? Well, let's hire more and have even more people sitting at home. What's my beef with Maven? I have no beef with Maven. He tried to spin something around today. Again, I already did a video about this, but I'll just say it again for Maven. I did a video about him promoting Just Incredible, like Just Incredible was being falsely accused of ripping off promoters and fans. I have firsthand experience. Justin Credible has done that. He's done it to me, and I have firsthand experience dealing with his addiction issues. My issue was with Maven presenting, and again, I did the video 8 months ago, right? He put out a video today. I did this like literally in May. He puts out a video today when I've said nothing bad about him since May, trying to make something. But you know what it is? Many fans have contacted me about it. He was only in the WWE a short amount of times, and he hardly did any indies. So he's running out of stories. So what do you do when you run out of stories? You go to, oh, Hannibal said something about me 8 months ago. Let's bring it back up and try and get some hits out of it. But the truth is about Maven, he has some sort of YouTube connection with Chris Van Vliet, who has a background in television. And they worked together to start his channel. It had a good boost. But as I said, he's running out of topics. He's told all of his stories. There's only so many times you can tell the same stories before they get boring. If you got a problem with me, I mean, there's one guy, again, the fan podcasters that haven't done anything, there's one thing. Maven, I will address, because you know what? He's been a wrestler. I'm real. I'm live with you guys right now. I go live all the time. Almost all my content for interviews and news is live. I don't need a producer. I don't clean things up. I don't spend and maybe I should. But I'm a redneck. I'm hick. I'm real. I just talk. But do I have an issue with Maven? No. He's just trying to get views, and he's obviously he needs to make content. Oh, Hannibal said something about me 8 months ago. Let's talk about it. But let's leave out what he was saying about Justin Credible, because it's true that Justin Credible is an addict that has ruined it with many fans and promoter. He's even on tape saying he wrestled drunk for WWE. And look at the size of Justin Credible now. He looks like he's got friggin' quadruplets. Like, for God's sake. Anyways, guys, let's go into the rest of the news and not let him digress me any longer. TNA news, Bear Bronson, former AEW wrestler that did not do much in AEW, has signed with TNA. I guess his partner had wife abuse issues. I don't even know who his partner was. Real Canadian Wrestling, speaking of Alberta, an Alberta-based group. I guess there was some controversy at a show January 24th in Edmonton. Wrestler Kato did an ice gimmick, and some fans took offense to it because that was the same day a shooting took place. Again, if it's wrestling, how can wrestling be fake and acting, but if you do something in it to try and get a reaction, it's taken so seriously when it's just acting? I don't really get it. I don't get it. But apparently, Real Canadian Wrestling, I don't know if from what I remember, they were just a small Alberta indie company, and it's Alberta. I think whatever that is, that's going to blow over pretty fast there. But again, it's wrestling. I don't think whoever did that was trying to do anything but get some heel heat. And apparently everyone's apologized to whoever they offended, because God forbid you offend people in wrestling these days. UFC 324 at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas last week drew over 19,000 fans. So there you go. I've been working on some big interviews lately, and I've been acquiring a lot of footage. Lopez versus Volk. Who do I got? Let's say Lopez. But we'll see. Royal Rumbles this weekend. Oh, by the way, Roman Reigns did an interview saying that the young blood has had plenty of time to get over. He hasn't been on TV for the last 2 years that much, and they're not taking the ball and running with it. I agree with him on that. At the same time, they did give Roman Reigns a lot of time just stuffing him down everyone's throat, till he finally got over. They put him over absolutely everybody. They pushed him to the moon. But after Cody Rhodes beat him, in the time he's been off, his popularity, again, has gone away. He's still more popular than most wrestlers, but the buzz about Roman Reigns is not there anymore. And I like him as a wrestler. I'm just saying, out of sight, out of mind, and the whole faction he had with the tribal chief and all that, my God, that's played out. It's like the NWO. There's now, seems like there's 50 of them and there's multiple factions, and I've seen it. Everyone's been in it, and it's time to do something different. Thomas, I've been enjoying the old shoot interviews too, and the thing I like about the old shoot interviews is they were done at times when most of these wrestlers were just thinking they were going to air on DVDs. So they're very blunt, where these days people realize when they're doing shoot interviews, they're going to be online and hundreds of thousands to millions of people might see them. So they don't really shoot as much as they used to. Someone says they think AJ Styles is going to win over the weekend. He's having a retirement match against Gunther. If you didn't know, I beat AJ Styles 2 times in one night back when he was New Japan Pro Wrestling Champion back in 2014. To be honest, I don't care if he wins or not. I think Gunther is overrated. But I think AJ Styles has done all he's going to do. So it's either, is he going to have a few more matches or end it at Royal Rumble? If he ends it at Royal Rumble, that's a pretty big show to end it at. But do you want to end it in Saudi Arabia or do you want to end it in Las Vegas at the United States? Who knows? Powerhouse Hobbs debuts tomorrow. I think Hobbs is going to debut over the weekend. Someone says betting odds have Roman Reigns as one of the favorites to win the Royal Rumble. I heard he might win and face CM Punk. Someone says Moose's take was pretty silly. I don't even know what that was about. I never heard about it. I've met Moose a couple of times. Seems like a good guy. Someone says WWE is crap. There's nothing to keep viewers. The most thing I'm interested about WWE this weekend is Chris Jericho going to return, and is Steve Austin going to return, because they're aware that business has not been the best in arenas lately. They're not even doing house shows for the most part. They only did 20 in 2025. Less people have been interested in talking about wrestling lately, so they might be bringing Steve Austin back. Now that Cena's gone, they need to regenerate interest. So I'm most curious is how are Austin and Jericho going to debut if they come back. Kent, great to see you. Love my content. Should AJ become the new NXT GM? I think that for AJ Styles, I think he wants to do stuff with TNA. Now that TNA is part of WWE in a way, as a farm system, and they're on AMC, they're beating Collision in the ratings so far. Both weeks, they've beat Collision in the ratings. So AJ Styles had a big part of TNA, and I think he wants to work with them, possibly as an on-screen character and producer. The Jericho pop will be epic. That first one will be. But again, I think I'd like to see Jericho do his retirement in WWE. I think he made the right decision there. It'll be interesting to see how they use him. So with that, I wish everyone a great night. Please subscribe if you haven't, and